Sukuna and Gojo beating Malenia and Radahn, let alone Radahn himself, is an asinine claim. A claim that literally shouldn't exist. So for my fellow Elden Ring players, they're not saying that Radahn and Malenia are weaker than Gojo and Sukuna. It's just that Gojo's infinity is so broken that they think that Malenia and Radahn has no way to get past said ability. Now in this video, I'll be explaining why Radahn alone slams the dog shit out of Gojo and Sukuna. Now I will be utilizing Consort Radahn due to the fact that Consort Radahn was stated verbatim to be Radahn within his prime. So the first thing I want to bring up is the fact that every ability that he has in his arsenal would quite literally blitz Gojo and Sukuna simultaneously. Now why is Within his youth, Radahn had halted the stars. Mind you that it was a one-sided beatdown, like it wasn't a challenge for him at all. He halted the stars, which halted the entirety of the future of different characters. The stars controlling / being fate themselves, he quite literally would then be halting fate itself. So the question would then be, why would infinity, space, stop something that is capable of halting the future itself? If his ability is capable of bypassing time, and time and space are already interwoven, then why wouldn't it be able to bypass space, which would be infinity in this case? Now backtracking to the reason why Radahn would blitz Gojo and Sukuna simultaneously, you guys have to understand that in order to have a smashing victory against the constellations, he would have to casually be traveling light year to light year easily, because constellations are quite literally hundreds of light years away, and we're told that he did this when he was young. Even though this ignores the fact that he did this casually, I'll be utilizing a 10-year time span. Using the stars within the Orion constellation, the total distance that he will be traveling would be 7,253 light years in total. The speed that you would have to be going at in order to travel said distance in 10 years would be 767.5 times the speed of light, which is way faster than anybody within the entirety of JJK. This is ignoring the fact that it was stated to be multiple constellations and not just one constellation. So this is a heavy low ball on Radahn's part, and yet he is still faster than the entirety of the JJK verse. Now the reason why I brought up his speed in the first place is because he is a master of gravity manipulation, which means that he'll be able to pull off techniques that does not require travel nor touch in order to utilize on the character in question. For example, utilizing gravity to lift everything up in the area and then smash them, or he could simply just overwhelm Gojo and seal him utilizing a shit ton of meteors. And since Gojo doesn't really have a way to get rid of all those meteors, he'll just be trapped in between them. So those are two win cons that Radahn would have against Gojo. Now the one win con that Gojo truly has is an infinite void, but unfortunately that's not truly a win con, and this is because of two things. The rate that Radahn's synapses would be firing would be able to actually channel in and register the information that will be entering his brain. Via the admission of the narrator himself, Gojo's 0.2 second domain was equivalent to that of 6 months of information entering the brain. Somebody with the synapses fast enough to navigate across light years in 10 years should logically be able to register that much information plus more without any form of side effects. But on the off chance of Radahn not being capable of doing that at all, he's already shown the capability to fight even while his mind is crushed completely. This is shown when you fight Radahn during the main run for Elden Ring. In the introduction of Radahn, they explained that the Scarlet Rot had conquered his body and corroded his mind as well, turning his mind into literal mush, and yet he is still fighting against the opponents and utilizing his gravity manipulation while simultaneously holding back of the stars. Sukuna is obviously not a factor here, so yeah, those are the ways that Radahn would bypass infinity or beat Gojo and Sukuna.